Hello everybody, and today we're going to be doing my MLB standings predictions. Hope you guys like this video, and yeah, here we go. So first off, we have the AL East with the Yankees. This is pretty obvious. The Yankees are just a really good team. Very good offense, and really good pitching too after signing Garrett Cole. Next up, we have the Rays. Rays are another really good team. They have really good pitching, pretty good offense. I just think the Rays are going to get second. Honestly, I think this year the AL East is going to have basically the same standings as last year. The Red Sox and the Blue Jays could be very close. Blue Jays could possibly get third after signing some big guys, but I still think the Red Sox, because of their offense, will be in third. Blue Jays will be fourth. Orioles, for pretty obvious reasons, are going to be in fifth. They're just one of the worst teams in baseball, and I do think the Orioles will still be in fifth place. Following that up, we have the AL Central. The AL Central includes 5 teams, and these 5 teams, I think are pretty. This is going to be definitely a pretty competitive standings this year for the AL Central because of the moves the White Sox have made. The Twins, I still think, are going to be number 1. After signing Josh Donaldson, that was a pretty big thing, pretty big for sure. That's saying the Twins are still going to be number 1. I do think the White Sox will become number 2 after the big moves they've made, getting Edwin Encarnacion, Dallas Keuchel, Gio Gonzalez, and many more. I definitely think they will be coming up number 2. Indians, I think, will be number 3. They still have really good pitching. They have Francisco Lindor. He didn't get traded. So I do think the Indians will be 5th. Next up, we have the Royals. The Royals are... They're kind of iffy. They're not great. The Royals have okay hitting, but they have some pretty good hitters. Their pitching is terrible. So I'm going to put them in 4th. And then 5th, last year's worst team in baseball, the Tigers. I still think are going to be really, really bad. It's going to be between them, the Orioles, and possibly the Marlins are going to be my worst teams this year. So, again, I mean, they did add C.J. Cron and Jonathan Scope, but I still think they're going to be number 5. Next up, we have the AL West. The AL West this year is actually going to be quite different than last year's. A lot of different changes. First off, we have the A's. A lot of people might think that the Astros will be first, but I think the A's. Just because of all these cheating scandals that's been going on with the Astros, I think this is the time that the A's will pull ahead and actually become number 1. I think the Astros, especially since losing Garrett Cole, are a weaker team than last year, and I think they'll come on in number 2. Third place, I think the Angels, after getting Anthony Rendon, a top-tier guy, and with Mike Trout, the best player in baseball, I definitely think the Angels will be number 3. Number 4, we have the Rangers and the Mariners. The Rangers and the Mariners this year are going to be the weakest teams in the AL West. The Mariners are not a good team, haven't been getting a lot of good offense. Still think number 5. And Rangers are going to be number 4 just because they did get Kyle Gibson, but I still think that their pitching isn't great, and I still think they're going to be number 4. Next up, the NL East. This one's a little bit different. We have the Braves starting out number 1. I think they're definitely going to be number 1 this year for the NL East. I just think that they're a pretty obvious pick. And they have a great offense, really good pitching. They just have a good team. Then we have the Mets. Now, the Mets is one of those teams that has a pretty good offense and have a pretty good pitching. It's just, you would think they play a lot better than what the guys they have. It's just, they haven't. I think the Mets will be in number 2. I think the Mets could possibly maybe get 1, but I still think the Braves are going to be number 1. I think Mets will be number 2. And the Nationals, I honestly think, have gone a lot worse. They couldn't get Josh Donaldson, which is a major loss for them. And now, after losing Anthony Rendon, I definitely think that they're going to be number 3. And they're just not going to be as good of a team this year. Then we have the Phillies. 4th place team this year. The Phillies are just... They have some good guys. They have some key players, but I think they're going to be number 4. And then we have the Marlins. One of the worst teams in baseball. Added some guys. They're better than, I think, last year. But they're still going to be number 5 because the rest of the teams are just better than the Marlins. Then we have the NL Central. The NL Central is a lot different this year. First off, we have the Reds. This year, I think the Reds are going to really surprise people. They got very good moves this year and shocked a lot of people. I think the Reds will be number 1 in the NL Central. Following them, we have the Cardinals. Last year's first-place team. I think they'll still do really good. I just think because the Reds, of all their moves they've been making, will be number 1. I think Cardinals will be number 2. Next up, we have the Cubs. The Cubs this year I think are going to get worse. Every year it seems like they're just getting worse and worse. They're not making many moves. They're getting rid of a lot of players. I just think that the Cubs are overall a better team than the Brewers and the Pirates, who are this year not going to be great. The Brewers last year did pretty good. I mean, they made the wild card, but the Brewers lost so many people this year, including Yasmani Grandal and a bunch of other key players, and I think they're going to be 4th place for that. They're just not going to be a great team this year. Pirates, these last years have not been great for the Pirates. They're not a great team, and they've always been 5th these last couple of years. I just don't think the Pirates will get any higher. They haven't been making big moves, so I think they'll be number 5 for the NL Central. Next up, we have the NL West. First place, we have Dodgers. Dodgers, I think, will win. Again, the NL West, it's pretty clear that the Dodgers will win. Most of the teams in the NL West aren't that strong. I will say, though, that the Diamondbacks are looking pretty strong this year. I do think they'll come in a close number 2. They added a lot of good players, including Madison Bumgarner. So I definitely think that the Diamondbacks will do way better than last year. They still have good hitters. They still have pretty good pitching. So I think they'll be number 2. Next up, we have Padres. Padres last year came in number 4. I think this year they'll be definitely number 3. Maybe a little, probably number 3, maybe 4, but I think Padres will be number 3. I just think that they're the right team for that. Then we have the Rockies. After a pretty disappointing year, I think the Rockies will be coming number 4th. They still have Nolan Arenado. They have Trevor Story. They have lots of good key players, so I think they'll come in number 4. Giants, number 5. Giants have not been making great plays this year. Not been making great moves. I just don't think the Giants will really do good in the NL West. I think they'll be the 5th place team. Those are my MLB standing. Those are going to be my MLB standings predictions. If I would have to say, I don't really have any postseason predictions yet. If I'm going to pick my favorite for the AL American League, probably the Yankees. As much as I hate to say that, because I love the Twins, if we're going statistically, I think the Yankees are the favorite for the AL. For the NL, this one is going to be pretty tough this year. I think it's going to be the Braves, though. I think the Braves have just a good offense. They're a good team. I think that they will be the people to be in the NL. The Dodgers have not been making great moves this year. They've probably just been getting worse, so I definitely think that they will not be in. And so I think that the Braves and the Yankees are going to be the 2 teams to beat in each conference. So those are my MLB standings predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed and liked the video. If you haven't already, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button for daily videos and daily updates on baseball. Thank you.